Hello everyone and welcome to another demonstrational video. My name is Discord Webhouse, and today we are going to be going through adding and setting up audio sources and how to monitor your audio levels to OBS. We're going to head on over to our fresh scene. It's going to look a little weird as it cascades in on itself here, but what we are focused on is our sources. The first audio source we're going to want to add for this demonstration is a audio input capture. We're going to be adding a microphone as our first audio input capture. So I'm going to call this one mic. From this point in the demonstration, you'll notice a difference in the quality of my microphone. It's going to bring us to properties for mic. We're going to select our device. In most cases, you'll be selecting your microphone or whatever your mic is labeled. So here we have our new audio input source, mic. If we want to monitor the input level, we head on over to our audio mixer. From this point, we can see the two microphones that I have. The one at the intro, which is all nice and cleaned up, is the SM57 microphone that we are currently hearing, called mic. As you can see, remains active at all times and sounds dirty in all simplest forms. So some basics in audio monitoring for your microphone and all other voice inputs. So calls from Discord or Skype or any audio that you are receiving as a voice call, you want to make sure that the levels stay within the orange zone or yellow zone as it may be on your audio mixer. As you can see with mic here, we keep bumping up into the red zone. That is known as clipping. That is where audio quality starts to become crunched up and distorted. So in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to set a limiter to prevent us from going over into the clipping zone. You'll click on the menu icon. You will add a filter. Here we can see we have no audio filters selected. The first thing we're going to add is a limiter. Okay, inside limiter, you are going to have two settings. The threshold refers to at what point is it stopping the audio level from getting any higher. At -6 decibels, we can see that -6 decibels is within the red zone. So we are going to adjust ours to -10. This means even if you are screaming at scary parts in games or getting really hyper and excited because you just pulled off like the perfect victory, your audio will not clip. You will still maintain a level of quality even through your loudest moments. But as you can tell, when I get quiet, we still hear a whole lot of interference, that staticky sound. How do we get rid of that? We are going to add noise suppression. Now, it makes a difference what order these are stacked in. So we want our noise suppression to be on top of our limiter because we want to clean the noise up first before we limit it. The first thing we want to do is clean up the noise. Within noise suppression, you'll have a number of options available depending on your hardware. This speaks low CPU usage. With this, you are able to adjust the suppression level. 0 decibels on suppression level is no suppression at all. As you add more and more suppression, you will notice it starts to suppress other elements as well. So it will start to strip away tones in your voice. By default, speaks is set to -30 decibels. As we can tell, there's still just that little bit of static in the background there. If you have a more capable CPU or a better built gaming PC or streaming PC, the RNN noise suppression is the better method to go with. It monitors the input and scrubs out any interference, static. It acts a little bit like a noise gate, which brings me to, if we go back to speaks, we can get rid of this last little bit of noise in our microphone by adding a noise gate, and we can move that noise gate up in between the two. The close threshold, anything below -32 decibels, and the mic stays off. For the mic to maintain an open or on status, it has to be sounds above -26 decibels. So you want to make sure that when you are speaking and monitoring your audio levels, that your open threshold is below the point at which you speak. So if we monitor my current input levels, my speech comes up above 20 decibels. Or -20 decibels. So having an open threshold of -26 works, but you may have to adjust these accordingly. If I put threshold, as we see, moving open threshold higher, and it starts to cut off parts of my voice. If we move the close threshold higher, we let more noise, and you will have to set this up depending on the audio levels of the room that you're working in. You are working in a wide open space, you're going to have more noise kind of drifting around. You have fans, AC, other people. These will all need to be adjusted for accordingly. A quick definition on attack time, hold time, and release time. So attack time refers to how quickly the gate reacts to the noise level. The hold time for like how long it is holding each state. And then release time is how quickly it turns the gate off to allow the ambient noise around your voice to be picked up. So now we have a microphone input added and leveled for our streaming. We have it set to a level that is going to be nice, crisp, and clear. We've stripped out any excess noise. The next thing we're going to want to do for this demonstration is head back over to our sources. Now I'm going to be adding a new audio output capture. This is for capturing like our game audio. In this demonstration, I'm just going to leave this one labeled as audio output capture. For your device, you will set it to whatever you have as your actual output device. So if you have your video games going to your headphones or to speakers, you'd select those as the device that you want to capture the output from. So in my case, it is my voice meter input. Now you can see our freshly added audio output capture. We head back over to our audio mixer. We can see it here. Okay, to test it, all I'm going to do is bring up my volume slider on Windows and ding the dong. But as we saw, our audio output capture on our meter here went all the way up to -10 decibels, and that was probably pretty loud. For things like our video games and our music, we want to make sure all of those audio output captures stay within the green zone. And the way we're going to do that is with filters. We are going to be adding another limiter. So same as last time, we're going to be adjusting our threshold, but we're going to be taking it all the way to -20 decibels. So now, when I test it with the volume again, that should be good. That gives us plenty of headroom for our voice to stand out over top of it, even as it goes off. However, if we want to make sure that we always have just that extra bit of space around our voice when it comes to our games and music, we can add what is called source ducking or side chaining. To do this, we're going to open up the menu for our audio output capture, go to filters, we're going to add a new filter. Here we're going to go up and add our compressor. And once we have our compressor added, we want to move it up the chain, so the limiter is on the bottom. To set up side chain and ducking, we need to choose a source. We want that source to be our mic. That way it's working around our voice. Once we've set the correct source, we want to set our ratio to 32:1. For this demonstration, I'm going to play some background music here so we can actually see the effect. So we still don't have it set up yet. We need our attack to be set to 100 milliseconds. We want release to be set to 600 milliseconds. just a good starting point. What's going to actually affect the volume of the ducking here is the threshold. So the more you adjust your threshold, the more it will duck the audio down as you speak. So you'll have to adjust this according to the volume of your voice, the volume of the audio source. So if you have been following along with this demonstrational video, you should now have a filtered and limited mic and a audio output capture that ducks your audio source for you. Like so. It will now drop our audio down as I speak. The last thing we will be covering in this demonstration is adding an audio source capture for your team chat or your Discord calls. To do this, we'll be going and adding an audio source for application audio capture. This is currently in beta. We're gonna label this one call. Here it'll bring up a new window. We want to Discord. There we go, discord.exe. We want it to be match title, otherwise find window of the same executable. Now that we have a call source set up, it is visible in our audio mixer. We want to add a filter and we're going to add a limiter. For this threshold, we want it set to -12 decibels. By setting our call audio to limit at -12, we'll be able to be heard over our call, but our call is still going to be heard over our other audio sources such as background music or games. When it comes to setting the levels for your call audio, you'll have to set them individually by user in each call, but you'll want to give them enough gain boost to ensure that they're getting into the orange section of the meter. That wraps up our basics section of setting audio in OBS. Which brings us to our bonus, more advanced section. In this section, we are going to be discussing separating out your audio into separate tracks on your recordings and on your live streams. To do this, first we're going to need to enable this on your OBS. To do this, you'll open up settings, and from here, you want to go to your output. You want to make sure that you are in advanced. You won't be able to change any of these settings if you are actively recording. It'll lock you into whatever settings you are currently using. From our advanced page, on the first tab you see streaming, you'll be able to select which audio track is going to the live stream. You have up to 6 separate tracks to choose from. In our second tab, we have our recording tab. Here you'll be able to go to our recording settings and you'll be able to select which audio tracks you want to record. In my case, it's a little hard to see, it's grayed out, but for my audio tracks, I'm recording track 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And then I'm streaming track 5. Once you've enabled the multiple tracks, press I and OK to close the settings window. And now to assign the separate tracks, you would go to Audio Mixer, Advanced Audio Properties. In this window, you will see your audio capture devices, anything that is active. You'll be able to choose whether you're monitoring or not. But at the very far right, we have our tracks. By default, everything records on every track. So my preference, I like to record my game audio on track 2. I like to record my chat audio or my call audio on track 3, and I like to record my microphone on track 1. I use track 4 for my alerts. I use track 5 for my streaming. I use track 6 for things like my background music and just chatting scenes. But by setting out and separating your audio tracks, you'll be able to adjust them in post. So if you record and choose to upload your videos to YouTube, before you upload, you'll have a second chance to readjust any of your audio levels. Another side note here, so as I have my stream set to my track 5, if I don't have my call set to stream, people who are watching live won't be able to hear the call audio. That also goes for the microphone and things like our audio capture. So you gotta make sure that you are labeling or keeping track of your audio tracks or your stream and your recording. So as I mentioned in the advanced section, if you separate out your audio tracks, you'll be able to control your sound alerts audio this way as well. To do this, you'd go to your sources, you would add in your alerts browser source. Once you've added the browser source to your list of sources, go into properties. You want to make sure you have the checkbox for control audio via OBS selected. This will get the Twitch alerts audio to show up in your audio mixer. From here, go back to our advanced audio properties, and we can see it has already set it for our track 4 and track 5 output. In my case, track 4 is my alerts audio, and track 5 is my stream audio. You can label your audio tracks however you want. To do this, go into File, Settings, Output. As long as you're in Output mode advanced, you can head over to the Audio tab, and from here you can see tracks 1 through 6. You can name them and set your audio bitrate. The default bitrate should be good in most usage cases. This concludes my demonstrational video on setting up and adjusting audio through OBS. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this has helped you. Until next time, bye-bye.